Hey y'all, it's Ryukin here, and welcome to the weekly dose of reviewing stuff. And today, in this new episode of the weekly dose of reviewing stuff here, we are going to take a look at the nostalgia phone. I mean not this one, because this is an outdated technology from 20 years ago. This was kind of released back in like the late 90s and early 2000s, which, well, guess what? It was an indestructible phone. So the case is really strong with the ugly screen and ugly buttons. But the casing on this thing right here, it looks really good. But this one, it wasn't my first phone because, you know, my first phone that I ever used was a Nokia N73 from like 2006 or 2007. And well, so when I first talk about the nostalgia phone, what are the things that came to your mind? You might be thinking about your first ever Samsung, you might be thinking about your first ever Huawei that you used, or even your ugliest smartphone that you have at the time. But well, so I do have one right here that is my first ever personal phone. Which, guess what? It is a so-called Huawei P8. This is my first ever personal phone that I ever used, and I bought this one back in 2016, which this one right here, my dad bought this for me, and he even got the feature phone with it. But although that feature phone, it has like, well, you know, it has an unknown OS operating system, and the camera is just, you know, not that good. So, and the video is not that good too on that feature phone that it came with this phone. And so, this is a Huawei P8. I almost said iPhone actually. So this one right here is a kind of a 10-year-old smartphone, but well, of course, they still have a production at the time I bought this one, and well, of course, they discontinue. Sort of, because, you know, this is not a welcome phone. This is a complete legitimate low-end budget smartphone that I got back at that time in 2016. And so, how well does it perform? Does it perform any better in 2024? So let's find out in this today's episode of the weekly dose of reviewing stuff, my nostalgia smartphone. And well, and without any further hesitate, let's get this video started. This is my true nostalgia smartphone that I have. And it's not just a true nostalgia smartphone that I have, but also is my first ever personal phone that I ever used. I use it a lot on this phone, and including play games and watch YouTube videos, and I even do a lot of nonsense stuff on this phone, and including the password game, which I'm going to talk about that in a later, or what I mean. So, and yep, this phone right here, it got used up a lot, as you can probably see by the condition right here, which it kind of look beat up, and as well as the colors are starting to fade, and you can see that on the power button, it completely fade out, and you can see the transparency on the power button itself, which, yep, it actually exposed the something that is actually lying inside there. And you know what? All those speed ups right here, they didn't caused by me, but it caused by my brother who used this phone. So he did actually use this phone a lot back in the day, and he used it to make music and record nonsense stuff on this phone. So he used it a lot actually for my brother. So, and for me, well, I didn't use it too much, but I used it as long as it works, and until like a year later, I got moved on to a Huawei P8, and until my Huawei P8 got outdated a lot, I changed to my Ryukin Power U30 and then my iPhone in 2023. So it is the one that I have right now right here. So I'm just not going to show that ever again because this kind of embarrassing me. And yep, of course, this it was my first ever personal phone that I ever used, and also I did use a lot on this phone, and including doing nonsense stuff also, which we are going to talk about that in a later. And alright, so before we get into anything right here, so we are going to take a look at the around my first ever personal phone first. So and first of all right here on the front, you can see on the front right here, we got a really big bezels right here. And on the center of the bezel, we got a 4-inch TFT LCD display, not IPS. So at the viewing angle right here is going to be terrible. So here it is, the TFT LCD display. Yep. The viewing angle, it is terrible. So but as soon as you get into this way right here, it's going to be washed out. So but you have to be turn the angle to the specific angle where it's actually get into that washout effect. So as you can see here at the top, yep, it's going to be completely washed out. And on the bottom of the LCD, you can see the place where all of those function buttons sit. So and they aren't any function until you turn on the phone. So there's no way to get the home button to turn on the phone until you press the power button. It's going to be working. And right now you can see it's vibrating on my hands. I can feel it. I can feel the vibrate on those buttons when I tap. Probably I'm not going to do that ever again because you know it's actually going to hurt the vibrator. But at least it does work. And on the top, we get a 2-megapixel camera as well as the earphone for calling somebody else like this, and as well as the LED flash, which is what I really like about this Lava Igris 512 right here, is that the LED flashlight does have on the front camera, so you don't have to worry about using a screen flash all the time. And this one also works in video mode, so actually I'm gonna say is a really best design choice that the most of the modern smartphones doesn't have, because the LED light itself is got like replaced with the proximity sensor and nonsense stuff, so they didn't actually kind enough to include the LED flash on the front camera. So and well, the front gone, and let's check out the side right here. On the side we got a volume rocker right here as well as the power button, which it kind of stung down for some reason, and I will have to press hard enough to get it to turn on. So but I think the power button is the most beat up button on this phone, so it's got beat up a lot, and it's probably due to my brother used it a lot back then in the day. And on the bottom we got the microphone, which is just a little pinhole there for the microphone. And on the top, we get a headphone jack as well as a micro USB port. And on the back, we got a 2-megapixel camera, completely focus free, so you can do autofocus on this phone. And as well as the LED light for using it as a flashlight, or you can use it as a video light or video flash if you want to. And on the bottom there, you got a Bluetooth speaker, which it didn't sound that good. So, but I think it's actually good enough for listening to music and watching YouTube videos also. And when I open up the back cover, which I'm going to take a quick look at it, the back cover is removable. So behind the back cover right here, you can see the place for the battery, the micro SD card, and 2 SIM card slots, one for the bigger one and one for a nano SIM. And that's really it. So nothing else to say here on this phone, but except for actually it's pretty much a basic smartphone that you can get back then in 2016. So but this one right here, it cost me like a few bucks at the time I bought this phone. And well, of course, this thing right here, I don't know how it perform these days, but we're going to take a look at the inside of the OS in a later. And well, so before we get into any inside out of the phone right here, so I'm going to talk about the one of the stories that I ever done on this phone right here, which I'm going to talk about that password game. So, and first of all right here, I used to mess up with the settings inside this phone, and until one day I discovered the password feature, which is some kind of a feature like on your iPhone that you have to type in your password and then the phone unlocks for you. But this one actually does have many variants that you can choose from the Face ID, or you can use even just the text or numbers. But there is one right here that it is distinguished from the other, which is a pattern password, which what it actually does right here, which you can actually set your correct pattern that you have set on your phone, and then the phone will unlock for you if you have the correct pattern. And guess what? I have set the possible pattern challenge on this phone, which I just don't even remember of how I said it, and until I was cry about it, and I had to get my dad for help, hard reset this phone, and did all my old precious data from the time I bought this phone and until on that day. So, and well, of course, and that's why I never messed up with the password settings ever again on Android, because it kind of regrets me a lot when I was a kid back then. So, and that's really it for my short story time in this episode right here. But well, of course, we are going to take a look at the inside of the OS right here. So as I turn on the phone right here, and wait, yup, it still works, as you can see. And well, you can see that it's pretty much a stock Android, and well, of course, you can see that it's pretty much a stock looking Android interface right here. So you can see that it's running on Android 5.1 Lollipop, which, how do I know that is an Android 5? It's because you can see that this is a really iconic setting right here. So I'm going to set the brightness down. Alright, I hope you all see better. So you can see the iconic signature settings there. So you can see that we got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, blah 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 blah. And here's about the phone right here. And here is the Android version that is running on Android 5.1. And I'm going to tap for the Easter egg. And here's the Easter egg right here, Lollipop. It's just looking like that. And well, of course, is a completely stock Android 5.1 user interface, and well, there is nothing special about that at all. So the calculator is still the same. The flashlight, yep, is one of those bloatwares that it came installed on this phone. And as for the flashlight right here, it is reasonably bright, and well, of course, you can see that there's like a yellow filter on there, but the light that it actually shines is completely white. So it actually completely white. So look at this. It's a really white flashlight. So, but back then when I was a kid, I just didn't really complain about that much. And well, of course, this phone right here, I also used to take a lot of photos and as well as the video. And speaking of the camera right here, so the camera itself, it looks really stock. So you can see that here's my face right here. So, and you can see that the interface of the camera right here, it looks completely stock. So you only got the shutter button right here, as well as the shutter button for the video, as well as the settings and the gallery button, as well as that of these three functions right here for flipping the camera to the front, as well as the flash and HDR mode. And the other things right here that you can do on the back camera is only normal, panorama, and beauty mode, which on the panorama mode, it doesn't even available on the front camera, because the front camera, the only thing that you would get is only beauty mode, and that's it. As for the other settings right here, we got some pretty much basic camera phone settings there, as well as the photo. The picture size that you can set is up to 2 megapixels. No hardly lies on this phone, so this is not a welcome phone. So this is a complete legit stock Android phone. So we got 2 megapixels as well as all the way down to QVGA. And step further, we got VGA 1 megapixel, 1.3 and 2 megapixels for the best quality as possible. As well as the preview size, you can set it to standard 4:3 or full screen according to your choice. So there is not much of the settings that you can set here. And the cell timer, you can set up to 10 seconds and 2 seconds. So there's no 3 seconds on this one. As a video, we got EIS. So this kinda look familiar to you? Well, I think so. I've been familiar with this feature right here like for a long time now, since I started watching somebody reviews a welcome phone that has this feature right here. It's a so-called EIS, which what it actually does right here is just going to make the video look more stabilized than what it was. But well, of course, I didn't see any effect on this phone at all. So, but even if I toggle it on, it's just non-existent. So I don't know why. And the microphone, which is kind of shame, because you know, who would have ever actually put the settings to turn off the microphone there? And so we got the audio mode, which you can set to normal or medium according to your need, as well as the time-lapse interval, which I have turned off, but you can set up to 10 seconds if you want to fill your time lapse. And the video quality, you can set to fine, high, normal, and low. And well, of course, we take a look at the front camera. The front camera looks the same, except for no panorama. it looks the same as well. And yep, of course, the same thing as the back camera. So you can choose all the way out to QVGA if you want to. Preview size, the same thing. And the other thing that you get is the voice control, which what actually does right here. You can say cheese and it's going to take a photo for you. But this actually kind of solves the solution. If you don't want to use the cell timer on this, you can just use the voice control and you can actually going to say cheese and it takes a picture for you, something like that. And the video mode, the same thing again, except high and low. I think high is for 640 by 480, as well as the low is for 320 by 240. And yep, there is not much of the settings that I can set on the front camera, but except there is zoom. So we got 2 times digital zoom, which is not that good amount of digital zoom back in that day, because you know it's a really low amount of zoom that you can get on the cheapest phone. But well, of course you can also zoom on the back camera too. Just double tap it and you can zoom on something there, like these 2 boys right there. So I'm going to take a photo of these boys. Oh god, that stock Android shutter sound. So, and here's the photo right here, which it looked to be something like this. So you can see that it's taken at 2 megapixels. So, but I think back then when I was a kid, I didn't think about the camera quality too much, but until I had my Huawei P8 that it has a better photo quality than this. And I forgot about something. What about the specs of this phone? Well, you guessed it, this thing, it has a 512 megs of RAM and a 4 GB of internal storage, which, well, for an internal storage of 4 GB, it's not going to be enough for your daily usage. But as soon as the application sizes will increase over time, and even some of the few apps wouldn't even fit inside this phone, but except if you want to install a Genshin Impact on this phone, it's not going to work because it eats up a lot of space on your phone. And the only thing that I can do on this phone is only to use it as an iPod Touch or a camera, or otherwise I'm just going to use it as a prop for filmmaking, like the one that I did back in Christmas in 2023. So sorry. But aside from using it as an iPod, a personal Walkman, or filming prop, this thing right here, it also features some bloatware from its carrier. So we got some AIS app and AIS smart Wi-Fi, which, well, the services are still there though, but this thing right here, it only locks AIS only. So it comes with the AIS carrier and it only locks to the AIS SIM. And well, of course, otherwise everything is all in stock Android app and everything. So, and what about the video quality on this phone? So, and I'm going to take a video out of this phone right here for like a few seconds, and I'm going to take a look at the footage for y'all. So, alright, so you can see that I'm recording this on my first ever personal phone. The video itself, it looks pixelated. So you can zoom in and zoom out like the most of the smartphone these days. That's my film camera there. That's a crown. That's my diamond sword. That's my theme slate. And that's my cinematic box, whatever it is. It took a little long time to save the video on this phone. So, and here's take a look at the video right here that I've recorded. Alright, so you can see that I'm recording this on my first ever personal phone. The video itself, it looks pixelated and it looks to be something like this. Or just can actually going to use auto rotation to get into the full screen like this. Yep, the auto rotation works on this phone. So just like any other smartphones. Zoom out like the most of the smartphone these days. That's my film camera there. That's a crown. That's my diamond sword. And yep, of course, the video right here is going to look something like this. But as well as the video quality itself, it doesn't look too bad when I first got it when I was a kid. But though when I look it back today, it still be the one of the worst video quality that I ever see from that one cheap smartphone like this. But although this is a complete low-end smartphone back in the day, but right now this phone right here is complete cut out of the internet connectivity and the Wi-Fi is still off. So you can see that it cuts out a lot of internet, and yep, of course I can't even do a YouTube test on this phone. But even though it has a YouTube app, so but I just couldn't get it to work because I have cut off the internet connectivity from this phone. So I will going to only use it as a really good old iPod Touch, or I can literally use it as a camera or filming prop, like what I did in Christmas back in 2023 last year. Of course, everything right here, it should be looking in stock, as well as the gallery app, which it looks something like this, and ignore all of those nonsense stuff that were filmed by my brother. So these were all nonsense stuff right here. But well, I think for the modern world use right here for this phone, which I'm gonna say it's not going to pass off the standards that one smartphone would need in 2024. So, but since it has a 512 megs of RAM and the 4GB of internal storage, it would be probably enough for basic use. So, but even though, if you want to play games on this phone, you have to end up choosing some low-end apps like the low graphic games or a low-end apps that you would think of at the time. So, but even though I didn't have any games on this phone because I cut off a lot of stuff on this phone, but well, of course the thing still works, and yep, of course I think it wouldn't pass off the basic smartphone needs in 2024. So the thing is still wouldn't even worth it, but for you guys, well, it's really up to you. But looking me at back today, I have my iPhone 10 and my Huawei U30. These phones right here will actually pass off my standards for the basic smartphone use. So, but well, of course, they are actually, well, they were just a cheap smartphone that I had back then. So, but at least the phone still works, but as long as the battery won't throw up too much and it explode. So, but fortunately they do have some replacement for the battery though, so I'll have to look up for that and replace the battery. So, but since the back cover is removable, unlike the most of the modern smartphone these days. So, and yeah, of course, that was basically it for this Lava Iris 512 right here. So, and this thing right here, it still lives on until the battery would die out, or if I have enough time I will just going to play around with it like a little kid back then. And yep, of course, or I will probably going to use it as my personal Walkman on iPod Touch. So, but with Android looking stock. And yep, that was really it for this video, and I think the video is too long now, so I'm going to cut it short. So, and that was basically it for this episode. And if you do like this type of content right here, so please leave me a like, comment, and also the most important thing is, which is to consider subscribe to my YouTube channel, and do appreciate it all for that. And if I missed anything in this video, so I will going to apologize for that, because if I miss anything, so you can tell me something in comments down below if I miss anything. So ขออภัยในความไม่สะดวกในหน้าที่นี้ด้วยนะครับถ้าผมพลาดอะไรไปสักจุดหนึ่งนะครับเกี่ยวกับไอ้โทรศัพท์เครื่องนี้นะก็สามารถคอมเมนต์มาบอกผมข้างล่างได้เลยนะครับ Okay, so and I think this is going to be basically it for this video, and I think my face is too close up to the camera right now, so but that's no worries. So I was just going to film it like this anyways. So, and I will see y'all there. Alright, where I'm going to make more awesome quality content like this, and it's 31 minutes now of recording time. And yep, I will see y'all there. Alright, where I'm going to make more awesome quality content like this. Or maybe if I want to make a challenge on this phone. I mean, not the use challenge, but I'm going to try to film a video on this first personal phone that I have. But at least this still lives on, and that Huawei P8 is dead. So I will just kinda leave up with my Huawei U30 and my iPhone 10, like after all. And alas, for now. And I apologize again if I was off the frame all the time, because I set up the camera like this. No worries, I'm just going to make like the good framing in the video editor anyways. So, and anyways, bye bye, สวัสดีครับ Woo!